Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Grandma Gail.
We are joined by Austin Kevich, the creator and CEO of LOX Club. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like I'm being graced by the presence of like the king of Jewish dating. I'm very excited. Also, I joke to everyone that I'm your biggest customer because I use so many of the like speed ups when I'm going through the apps that I think I actually spent my whole salary on your app.
Oh, thank you. You're probably paying for my lunch today then.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's start with how old are you? Where are you from? Where do you live now? And your current relationship status?
I am 29, from Philadelphia. I live in LA, currently single.
Gotcha. And tell us the story of starting LOX Club, because now it's a huge player in the dating app space. I feel like that's a really hard thing to do. So what was the story behind creating it?
Yeah, it's been a wild year. It happened really quickly and unexpectedly. I'll give you the shorter version of the story. So this isn't my first company. This is my third company. I was in the process of selling my second right before COVID. And I was also going through a breakup, and I was in that like anxious, depressed breakup funk when I hit rock bottom and was like, all right, I'm desperate enough to try the other dating apps. And I've always been anti-dating app, but I tried two of them. I just thought they were very corny. At the same time, we're also at that age, as you know, where like your grandma's like, when are you going to bring home a nice Jewish girl? Or
Correct.
in your case, a Jewish guy. And also a lot of my friends and I would like joke about that. Like, why isn't there a dating app for that? So completely as a joke, I made a website on a whim, the LOX Club, an exclusive dating app for Jews with ridiculously high standards. I even wrote on the original website, like, find someone who finally makes your grandma proud. And then people were able to apply for it, but there was no app behind it. It was just a website. And that week, like over 1,000 people signed up, like thinking there was actually a real LOX Club behind it. And I still didn't take it seriously. And then a lot of people would bug me like, hey, can you make this for real? Still didn't take it seriously. And then COVID hit, and all of a sudden everyone's stuck at home and alone and horny. And there's no other way to meet people now. Like you need dating apps. So I was like, all right, it does make a lot of sense to actually build for real now. But if I'm gonna build it, I'm gonna build it in a way that like I would use and not roll my eyes at. So that's kind of like was the inspiration behind designing it like an old school deli, and the LOX Club is the secret speakeasy inside. So it's more of this fun experience that makes the whole dating less cringy.
Yeah. I feel like that is such a cute concept behind it and really differentiates it from other dating apps. Do you have to be Jewish to be on LOX Club?
No, the way I'm pitching it is it's like it's a deli. It's basically a virtual deli, and it's culture. Delis are culturally Jewish, yeah, but anyone can come enjoy it. But because of that vibe, it's mostly Jewish.
I love that. And I love how you said the part about like Jewish grandma putting the pressure on to find someone. I kind of want both of your takes on this. Why do you think that's such a trope that like the Jewish grandma is such like overly involved? And
well, because we want the best and we want to see it in our lifetime. I mean, we can't wait till you're 35.
Right.
You're 25,
well, even just now,
get on the ball.
Yeah. Even just now when I was getting ready, you were like, how are you going to have children when your apartment is a mess? And I was like, well, I'm 25. We can take a little breath. What do you think, Austin?
I think Jewish grandmothers are the wisest species on earth. And
Thank you.
You know how like you do the opposite of whatever your parents say, but you always listen to your grandma, especially when you have a cool grandma, which it seems like you do. And I think they just know better. Like this is what something I'll get into about LOX Club. It's like a lot of it's about the values, not just being Jewish, but like the Jewish values that come with it. And I think Jewish grandmas recognize that.
Yeah. So what do you think are some of the most important Jewish values that are important to you?
Well, I think the obvious one is very close with family, which like look at you guys, like that's like a perfect example of Jewish families are they're just very loving, and it's just very grounded. ambitious, like you want to have an exciting life. Playful, someone who likes to laugh a lot, and I feel like my family is like that, and I think a lot of Jewish families are like that, where it's like the center of the relationship is a lot of laughter and play.
Kimmy, first tell him that you went out with his cousin.
Oh.
Which cousin?
That was the funniest thing. You're not
Okay, so I've been on 8 LOX Club dates.
Mhm.
Great guys. One of them was a virtual one. I actually think it's the only virtual date I ever did because it was like kind of earlier in quarantine with your cousin.
No
I
way.
can cut this out if he doesn't want to be put on blast.
Wait, can we please put this on blast? How was it?
No, he was really nice, but he lives in LA and I live in New York. So I feel like
geographically correct.
Well, it was, yeah, I think also just, I don't know how often like he comes here, especially in COVID. At the time I was living in Palm Beach, but I thought like the FaceTime went well. He was really like nice and charismatic. I don't know. Then we just kind of lost touch.
I've never done a FaceTime date, so tell me how that worked.
Okay, so I was living with her and I was like, I can either do it and have her hear the entire conversation through the wall, or we were living in an apartment building that
Or
has
just
like,
include her on it.
I know. Well, I was thinking maybe second date you could come, but not first date.
It's all right. I had a cup against the wall, so I was really hearing it anyway.
No, I didn't. I did it from down. So we in our building we had like a concierge lounge kind of thing in the lobby with like free rosé and everything. I was like, perfect. I'll go sit down there. But I realized it was like 5 o'clock our time, but like obviously earlier in LA. And I was drinking, and he was like, I don't drink in the middle of the day. And I was like, oh, right. So now we're just gonna be on different levels here. But no, it was good. I propped my phone up on like a book or something. So because I feel like it's awkward when you're holding your phone like a FaceTime and trying to like date with someone for an hour. I feel like that's weird. So I propped it up and kind of just treated it like a normal date. Like I put makeup on, I like was wearing like a black shirt or something. And like, I don't know, sometimes I listen to people's advice and they're like, wear perfume like you're actually with them. Like that's too much for like, no, like the easier the better for these kind of things. Like you want to knock it up. But I think we were on the phone for like over 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, that was gonna be my next question. How do you end it? Do you make up an excuse, especially during COVID when you're just at home?
Yeah. I think at home it's almost easier to make up an excuse because you're like, what, mom? Like dinner is ready. So you can kind of get out of it that way. But like I say this all the time, like you're busy, like in person. When I go on dates, even like after 2 hours, even if I'm having the best time in the entire world, I'm like, I have to go because like, I don't know, leave it on a high note, like make them wanting more. You can see them again if you like them. So I think you just say like, this was really fun. I mean, the excuse people say like I have an early day tomorrow or whatever it is, but I think as long as you follow up with the text after, or if they do, and just be like, yeah, I had a great time, we should do it again, then like it's fine.
But that was your only one. That's your only face. That was the only one you went online with.
Yeah, I think I did one other one like really, really early COVID.
It's so sad.
I actually think the FaceTime dates would be so ideal to do for like 10 minutes before you like actually go meet up with someone in real life, just so you could see what their, how their mannerisms are like and how their voice sounds, their whole like vibe before. Do you know how some people, when you're just looking at 2D pictures, they look one way and then you meet them and you're like, well, I didn't expect that.
And you don't hear their voice. And sometimes, not that that's a reason not to date someone, but sometimes they could just like give you the ick and then you're done.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I want that to be normalized and not like have stigma around it. I just think if someone texted me was like, hey, before we go out, let me just make sure you're good on FaceTime, I would be offended. So how do you do it in a nice way?
And we've obviously, like, people have said like you should put FaceTime in LOX Club, but I still think like I said, everything we do is we're trying to make it not cringy, and I still can't figure out how to make that not awkward.
I don't know. Some other apps, I'm sure like do have that feature. I don't know anyone who's ever used it.
Same. I don't know. I know every app is like big on promoting it because it looks good. It looks good, especially during the pandemic. But yeah, I've never met anyone who used like the in-app FaceTime.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something to think about because it would save us all a lot of time. But
no, that's too shallow. You can't just do it on looks and voice. You have to meet somebody. I've told you a million times, you have to meet more than once too. So
You
Yeah.
always say give someone a second, third date, no matter
Absolutely.
what. That's a question actually I have for Austin. Like when people talk about the superficiality of dating apps, do you care about that? Or is it like something that you try to like avoid because like you have the prompts that are fun and maybe like you
Yeah.
go deeper with people? Like what's your take on that?
Yeah, we definitely cared about that because a couple of the other dating apps like are just photos, and even Instagram's like pretty much just photos. So when we were thinking about how to design the profiles, we had the application first. Remember, like when you apply, I asked you some questions, and then in the early days, like not that like a couple months ago, I myself was like one of the people reviewing applications, and both guys and girls, and I was like, whoa, it's actually really interesting reading about people's career story and like their dreams and ambitions and stuff. What if we included this on the profiles? Because there's nowhere else on the internet where you can actually read someone's story. LinkedIn is the closest, but LinkedIn's like buzzwords and people speaking in third person, and it's like
Yeah.
so stupid. So yeah, it was really interesting for me to move that to the profiles.
Mhm.
It really helps you understand and empathize with someone.
Yeah. So since it is like a membership based app and like you don't accept every single person that applies unless you do, but I think the concept is that you don't, like what makes you turn away someone, or like what percentage of people do you actually accept to apply?
Um, so actually rejecting people, um, you'd be surprised at like how some people answer the applications. Like a lot of people show their true colors.
Mm.
Like they'll be like, why do you want to join LOX Club? And they'll write tits or something
Wow.
like that. Yeah, it just makes, and or if someone puts like,
Tits.
Oh, so that's good. I didn't hear it. That was better. I'm glad I didn't hear it.
or that's my favorite answer. Or if someone just puts like zero effort into the application, like zero, like it's just so lazy, then they probably won't get in. I'm not sure the exact percentage that gets
Yeah.
accepted. A lot of people think they've been rejected, but it just takes a long time because we have a pretty small team and there's still like a lot of applications on the wait list. So it's been taking like a couple weeks to go through applications.
How long can you be on the wait list for?
I think some people have been waiting a couple of weeks just because we're still getting around to everyone.
All right, that's good. That's good for business.
Yes.
We're actually like we have humans reading every application and like checking out people's social media and to make sure they are who they say they are, and so we're very thorough with it, and that's why it takes a little bit more time.
That's what we're going to ask you. How do you know if they're telling you the truth? We had a detective
Yeah.
on recently who was telling us we should follow the guys when you get them on.
Yeah, well, we had a private investigator on as a
Mhm.
guest who was telling us like best stalking practices.
Wait, that's so cool. What did he say?
He said, hire him.
Yeah, he was
Hire 'em.
really big on being like, use my services because don't trust anyone kind of
Right,
thing.
sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys also have that matchmaker feature, right? So how does that work?
Also, they're on the team. They're real humans. People are surprised by that. And you simply text the matchmaker from inside the app. It's a button, and you could tell the matchmaker your type. So, for example, like you can be like, I'm looking for a guy who's above 6 foot and lives in New York and has brown hair and works in advertising. And then our matchmakers will go through the back end and like look for people that could be compatible with you and then show them in your feed. Also, the most common use of it is people will ask for profile advice. Like they'll be like, which photo do I look hottest in? Which one should I show first?
Very interesting.
How do I make my prompts funnier? Yeah, I think that's really useful.
Very cool.
Have we got a score or a record on how many successful matchups you've gotten so far in the year and a half that you've been doing this, or the year? Do we have
That's a
any
great
follow-up?
question. Yes, yeah, a lot. We only know about the ones who reach out to us, obviously.
Right.
Like we're not like tracking.
Right.
Like I know some other apps will like show a pop-up and be like, did you guys meet? How did it go? I think that's kind of invasive. We just receive DMs or emails or texts from people saying they met their partner. The most surprising thing and the most exciting for me is when people will post an Instagram with their new partner and caption it "Thanks at LOX Club."
Okay, that's great. That's
Because
great. That's what I meant.
that's with every other dating app, like you would never admit that you met on a dating app. You know,
Mhm.
like you
stigma.
lie. Yes, like people even lie to their family. Say we met at Whole Foods, or we met at the gym. So it's mind blowing to me that people are actually like posting "Thanks, we met on LOX Club."
Yeah, that's a like testament to what you guys do, I think. Have you gone on any LOX Club dates yourself?
This is a big debate amongst the team because I haven't yet, and everyone really wants me to. I'm the only one, only just because I've been so busy. I do use the app though, obviously.
Mhm.
So I am excited to go on my first LOX Club date. I think I'm going to tell her that I'm an intern at LOX Club.
I think that's a good idea. Okay, so let's go back to that game I was saying, your perspective on these like Jewish characteristics, because I think could be fun. How important are these things to you in a partner?
Wait, so do you want me to rate it out of 10? How should I
Um,
answer this?
yeah, sure, why not? If they've been bat mitzvahed.
Somewhere in the middle, like 5.
hmm Were you bar mitzvahed?
Yes.
Did you have a theme?
Yes, it was baseball teams. I
Cute.
sat at the Yankees table.
Okay, so what about if they have gone on birthright?
Probably like 2,
Okay, if they went to camp,
3.
did you go to camp?
I did.
Which
I
one?
didn't love. I didn't. I didn't love sleepaway camp.
Oh,
I
either did
went to-
Kimberly. You're perfect together. We're making a match here.
Please
Oh
stop.
really? You didn't like?
Yeah, I
know,
went.
You didn't
so
like.
two
She's
people
blushing.
didn't like
I went
camp.
to Trip Lake in Maine, and it was just like really sporty.
You hated it.
Yeah.
I went. I went to Camp Wayne in Pennsylvania, and then I went to Takahoe, which I think is near.
Oh, your brother.
Yeah, it's our brother camp. My brother went there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what if they like bagels with or without lox? Does that make the point go higher?
With or without locks. I love locks, but it's surprisingly not a deal breaker.
Oh, says the LOX
Yeah.
Club guy. Interesting.
I
Okay.
know. I know. I'm being branded as like I should be like obsessed with locks, very Jewish, and very into dating, and I'm really not
Doing
great
of
at
those
any
things.
of this. Yeah.
That's all right. You came up with the idea. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yes. I'm helping
Fan of
everyone else find love at least.
yes. Isn't that
Mhm.
called like when you matchmake in Judaism?
If you make a match, you have
Shidduch. What is-
shidduch.
Yeah.
You go automatically to heaven.
Fan of Curb Your
in.
Enthusiasm or Larry David?
Oh yeah, that's important. Probably a 10.
Yeah, that's important in our family. Have to be a 10 with Larry
Yeah.
David.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker if they don't like.
Okay, last one. If someone's like, I hate to like be like jappy, but like very into like they wear a Van Cleef necklace, Golden Goose sneakers, love bracelet. Like, do we love it or hate it?
Probably hate it.
Okay.
I okay. I have to admit something. I don't know what
Okay.
any of those brands are.
Oh, maybe it's a
but,
Northeast.
That's why he came from Philadelphia.
Okay.
He didn't always live in LA.
Like a Cartier love bracelet. You know what that is.
Do you have one?
Yeah, but I'm not wearing it.
Did you just describe yourself?
No, hopefully
Um,
not.
No.
Yes.
How about this? I need to see what they
Okay.
look like. I think it could be cool as long as the girl's like funny about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If she takes herself too seriously, then
Forgot
Then
Yeah.
that's
It depends how
more-
much weight is on if you just wear those things or if you like talk about it all the time and like it's different.
Mhm.
Like the weight you put
I'm
on
gonna
that.
do some Googling after this.
Okay. Want to finish up here with your relationship with your parents and when it comes to dating. We talked about like the over-involved grandmother. When it comes to your family, your parents, how involved are they in your dating life?
I definitely talk to them about it, but like not anything past PG-13.
Mhm. We can't say the
Do you-
same.
do you-
Well, we're constantly together.
Yeah.
We're like attached to the hip, so we constantly talk about what
Yeah.
the other person does. That's not normal. I don't think we're normal anymore.
Not anymore. Well, we say all the time,
You-
like you always say normal is good, and I always say
like
normal
normal.
is boring.
Right.
It's like our
You don't like normal. I like normal.
Do you hold anything back, or are you just like, this is exactly how it went last night? And
She holds some things back. I don't want to know all the details. Trust me.
well,
But I like
sometimes you
to know
ask.
I like to
sometimes-
know if you had a good time, a bad time, and if he's a nice guy. That's all. I don't want to know if he's not nice. Get rid of him.
But then you like do want to secretly know, and then I tell you, and then you hate them.
I do hate them.
So it's a
what
catch-22.
makes you hate them?
Well, if sometimes some of these guys now are so selfish. We didn't live like this in the 50s and 60s. Everybody was sort of much kinder to each other on a date. I think with the social media and all the other
It's
things
not the
that are
social
around-
media though. What you're talking about, it's like the fuckboy behavior.
Oh, here we go again. And the people who are listening to us won't understand what thing you're saying.
Oh, okay. So
Kimberly.
explain to your friends, grandma, really quickly. What do you remember? What a fuckboy is?
No, I don't want to talk about
Austin,
this.
you described to my grandma what a fuckboy is.
He doesn't know.
Yes, he does.
I think of fuckboys like manipulative, emotionally stunted.
You had a lot of those, Kimmy,
that's-
this winter.
Mhm.
Yeah, it seems like it feels like everyone has.
Yeah,
That
that was a
I have a
bad
sister.
scene.
I have a sister who's only a year younger than me, a year and a half, and most of my friends out here are girls. So like I'm first front row seats at all the fuckboy stories.
Mm.
And,
Why are they like a growing population?
That's an interesting thought.
That is a really interesting thought.
I'm smart.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a couple of variables at play. It's like the whole like social media thing and like millennials with mental health, and there's more like entitlement because of this how this generation was brought up. And I think there's like a lot of 36-year-old dudes out there that are like still trying to find themselves.
Mm.
Then when they're with girls, it's more like they're just it seems very immature and manipulative. I don't know. I can give you
They're not
stories.
looking for relationships, which is the sad
Well, I think we
thing.
have the luxury, and it's a luxury and a curse that like things happen later now. So you have more leniency from other people when it comes to I'm still finding myself, even when you're like at an older age, versus when you were 28, 29, 30 doing that in the 50s, 60s. You just
They would have put you in a crazy house.
right. You're in a mental institution. That's not normal. Now, of
Exactly.
course, it's so normal. Like,
Right.
so it's just times changing.
Yeah. I think from I'm reading the book now, Man's Search for Meaning. You know that book, Viktor Frankl?
I don't think so. Do you?
So he was a clinical psychologist that survived the Holocaust. So a lot of the book is about his experiences in a concentration camp, and then he invented positive psychology. And just reading his experiences and his story made me realize like that generation was probably just so grateful just to be alive.
Right.
And just to be able to like have a partner and have a family and be breathing, where our generation is like, we're fucked up. Like we're so entitled, and like we're so far past like appreciating just life. And we're all like, I don't think it's our fault either. I think it was the way the world the way we were raised and brought up in, and like even with now social media just perpetuates it. But yeah, now like for us to have like dopamine and serotonin, we're always reaching for the next shiny object, and I think that's like the core of the fuckboy.
Right. Okay.
Did you hit me on purpose?
I hit you on purpose because I wanted you to listen to what he's saying. He's very good.
That was my
you
TED
have
Talk.
you're very emotionally intelligent. I don't know if you get that a lot, but it is very clear.
That's my TED Talk on fuckboys.
Right, exactly.
All my friends who are listening to this podcast have absolutely no idea what that is.
But
That's
now they
anybody
know.
65 and
Yeah.
over.
Now they
Okay.
know, and they can talk to their grandkids and be
Correct. That's why we're doing
informed.
this podcast.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just end. Austin, what is next for you when it comes to LOX Club and anything else in life that you want to share?
What's next for me with LOX Club? So much with LOX Club. We're doing so much more in real life stuff. Like we just launched all these events that are happening. we're talking about opening up LOX Club in real life, like actual like deli speakeasies where
Oh, that's
That would be
you
so
can,
fun.
right? And you
LA
can
or
bring
New
your
York?
date. Both. We just hired a VP who lives in New York. So she's very adamant on like us having our office there. So I'm gonna probably be bi-coastal this year, and maybe we'll open up that there first. And my
Mhm.
family's all East Coast, remember?
Right, right. Wait, also, while I'm thinking about this, is there a difference between like the LA Jew and the New York Jew?
And the Miami Jew.
Oh, and the Miami Jew.
Yeah, probably.
Like there is, but like,
Well, I think the probably from our perspective, we've always thought LA was much more laid back than New
mhm.
York. New York was always the more
Mhm.
aggressive.
Anxiety, the Woody Allen
Yeah,
trope.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Miami one, I don't
Mhm.
know, that I have no idea, but that was always the personification that people thought of those two coasts. But
Yeah.
it probably is changing now. I'm sure everything is almost the same.
Imagine like Miami Jew is like a guy with like some nice tight black pants and fresh white sneakers
And chains
at,
and a lot
at
of
the
chains.
club. Yeah. Has the table at Live. He gets
Yeah.
help you skip the line.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. Austin, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people follow you, download LOX Club, apply, all that?
You could follow me at Austin Kevich on Instagram, just my name. LOX Club, search LOX Club in the App Store, LOX CLUB, and just apply. Mention your application that you came from Gail and Kim, and we'll give you preference. And yeah,
Great. Do you do any older people? That's what we were
we
discussing.
do.
You do. Do you have
You do, yeah.
Because that was something that would be very interesting because we have an awful lot of single women and gentlemen that are over 65. Would they be interested in this as well?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, great, great.
Thank you so much.
All right,
This
thank
was
you
so
guys.
fun. That was another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. Please check out our website, excusemygrandma.com. Follow us on Instagram at excusemygrandma and on TikTok. And we will see you next week.
Bye.